Dear students, welcome to Tungala online classes. In today's session, we shall derive the expressions for capacitance of series and parallel combination of capacitors and the energy stored in the capacitors. We shall also solve some numerical problems of this chapter. Okay, let us start with the effective capacitance of a series combination of capacitors. For this, let us consider three capacitors of capacitances C1, C2 and C3. Okay, and let these capacitors be connected in series. We say capacitors are connected in series when the right terminal of a first capacitor is connected to the left terminal of a next capacitor. Okay, so it is clear that all these capacitors are connected in series, and let combination of these capacitors be connected across the external supply voltage of capital V. Okay, and because of capacitances C1, C2 and C3, when they are connected to external voltage, let Q1 is charge stored in the first capacitor, Q2 is magnitude of charge stored in the second capacitor, and Q3 is Dear students, welcome to Tungala online classes. In today's session, we shall derive the expressions for the effective capacitance of series and parallel combination of capacitors and the energy stored in the capacitor. We shall also solve some numericals on these topics. Okay, let us begin with the effective capacitance of series combination of capacitors. For this, let us consider three capacitors of capacitances C1, C2 and C3 which are connected in series. We say the capacitors are connected in series when the right terminal of the first capacitor is connected to the left terminal of second capacitor, and the right terminal of second capacitor is connected to the left terminal of third capacitor, and it just goes on. In this case, we are taking only three capacitors. Okay, and let C1, C2 and C3 be the capacitances of those capacitors. The combination of these capacitors, let it be connected to external voltage of capital V. Okay, and the equivalent circuit of this, I can show it like this. Yes, so this is the equivalent circuit. I have the voltage of V here. Let us consider CS. CS is the effective series capacitance of a combination of these capacitors. Yes, and we know that whenever capacitors are connected in series, same current flows through the all capacitors, and the charges stored in each capacitor is same here. So in all the three capacitors C1, C2 and C3, we have same magnitude of the charges stored. Okay, so that charge stored in each capacitor, let us consider it as a Q here. Okay, and whatever the voltage is supplied, so that voltage gets divided across all these capacitors. The potential drop across first capacitor, that I call it as V1, that across second capacitor, that I call it as V2, and the potential drop across the third capacitor, that I consider it as a V3, so that V is equal to V1 plus of V2 plus of V3. Okay, then consider the first capacitor here. By the definition of capacitance, we have, I can write it as Q is equal to C1 into V1. Yes, by this I can write it as V1 is equal to Q divided by C1. Okay, let it be equation number 1. Then by considering the second capacitor here, I can also write the charge stored is equal to capacitance of that capacitor, that is nothing but C2 into the potential drop across that capacitor, that is equal to V2. By this I can write V2 is equal to Q divided by C2. This I consider it as equation number 2. Yes, similarly look at this third capacitor here. By considering the third capacitor, I can again write the charge stored in the third capacitor is given by C3 into V3, so that V3 is equal to what? Q divided by C3. Let it be equation number 3. Okay, so these in all the cases the charge stored is the same, and by considering this equation, that is the external voltage supply is equal to what? V1 plus V2 plus V3, and all these voltages I will consider here. By this I can write V is equal to what? V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus of V3. This I can again write it as V1 is equal to what? Q divided by C1 plus V2 is equal to Q divided by C2, and V3 is equal to Q divided by C3. In this Q is common, so I take it outside. I can write it as Q inside bracket 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So the voltage is equal to, the voltage V is equal to what? Q into 1 by C1 plus of 1 by C2 plus of 1 by C3. Let it be equation number 4. Okay. Then let us consider the effective capacitance here. So I consider the combination of capacitance. Here also whatever voltage is supplied, all voltage will be consumed by the capacitor here. So voltage, the potential drop across the combination of the capacitors is equal to the supply voltage. So here from this equation, and the charge stored is also same. Yes, so that charge stored is equal to what? Q. So by taking this capacitor, I can again write Q is equal to what? Q is equal to CS into potential drop. Okay, CS is effective capacitance of the combination, V is the potential drop across that combination, and Q is the charge stored in the combination here. So Q is equal to, I can write it as V is equal to Q divided by CS. Okay, let this be equation number 5. Equating equation number 4 and 5, I can write it as Q divided by CS. Q divided by CS is equal to what? Q inside bracket 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus of 1 by C3. Yes, comparing both these equations, I can write 1 by CS is equal to what? 1 by C1 plus of 1 by C2 plus of 1 by C3. The same equation can be extended for n number of capacitances. So in general, we can write, when I have series combination of n number of capacitors, the effective capacitance is given by 1 by CS is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 up to 1 divided by Cn. Okay, this is the general expression for effective capacitance of the combination of the capacitors which are connected in a series. Okay. Next, let us consider the parallel combination of same capacitors. Let C1, C2 and C3 are the capacitances of the three capacitors which are connected in parallel. We say capacitors are connected in parallel when all the left terminals are connected to the positive source and all the right terminals are connected to negative source. We can also connect it in reverse, right? But all these left terminals are connected to same terminal of the supply. All the right terminals of the capacitors are connected to the same terminal of the supply here. Okay. Then when we know in parallel combination, the potential drop across each component will be equal to the supply voltage. Hence, the potential drop in across C1, C2 and C3 all are equal to V here. Okay. And in parallel combination, the current gets divided. Hence, the charge stored in the capacitors also gets divided here. Let us consider the charge stored in the capacitor C1 is Q1, the charge stored in second capacitor is Q2, and the charge stored in the third capacitor is Q3. Okay. Then, if I draw the equivalent capacitance here, so this is the equivalent circuit of parallel combination of the capacitors. So the effective capacitance, I call it as a CP, that indicates the combination is parallel. Okay. Here, let the supply voltage is V, the potential drop across this combination will also be equal to V here, and the net charge, the charge stored across in the combination will be equal to Q. Yes. So that Q is equal to the total charge stored is equal to what? Q1 plus of Q2 plus of Q3. Okay. So this is the magnitude of the net charge stored in the combination of the capacitors. Okay. Then separately we shall consider each capacitor here. When I consider capacitor C1, by the definition of capacitance, I can write Q1 is equal to what? C1 into V. Yes. By this, and from second capacitor I can write Q2 is equal to C2 into V, and by the third capacitor I can write Q3 is equal to what? C3 into V. Across all the capacitors the potential drop is same, so I am writing V here. Okay. And using this equation I can write, I just substitute the values of Q1, Q2, Q3 in the first equation here. By doing that I get it as C1 into V plus of C2 into V plus of C3 into V. Okay. And when I consider this combination here, I can write Q is equal to effective capacitance is what? That is Cp, and the net potential drop is equal to what? V. I just replace Q by Cp into V. I can write it as Cp into V is equal to what? C1 into V plus of C2 into V plus of C3 into V. I take V common here, so that I can write it as C1 plus C2 plus of C3. LHS is Cp into V. Okay. By comparing LHS and RHS here, I can write the effective capacitance of parallel combination is equal to what? Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus of C3. The same equation can be extended for n number of capacitors, that is Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 up to Cn, where Cn is capacitance of nth capacitor. Okay. This is the expression for effective capacitance when capacitors are connected in a parallel combination. Next we have small concept of a common potential that we repeatedly use while solving numerical problems. Okay. Let us consider a capacitor of capacitance of C1 and capacitor of capacitance of C2. Okay. Let first capacitor is connected to the voltage V1 and second capacitor is connected to the supply of voltage of V2 here. Okay. So when this capacitor is connected to voltage V1, there will be some magnitude of charge stored in that capacitor. So that magnitude of the charge stored in the first capacitor, that I call it as a Q1, and the charge stored in the second capacitor, that we consider it as a Q2 here. Okay. And what happens when these two capacitors are connected in parallel? Okay. So let us connect these two capacitors in parallel here. Here we will not have any external source of voltage, only I will detach this capacitors from these voltages and only I will just connect the capacitors. Here it is having some potential of V1. Okay. So here the potential developed will be equal to what? V1 equal to external source voltage. The charge stored is equal to what? Q1. In second capacitor the charge stored is equal to what? Q2, and the capacitance of this capacitor is C2 here. Okay. So here in the first capacitor, the voltage or the potential developed will be equal to V1, and the second capacitor, the voltage developed after the maximum charge stored, that will be equal to what? V2. Okay. So when these two capacitors are connected in parallel combination, what happens is there will be transfer of charge from higher potential capacitor to lower potential capacitor. Okay. So whichever capacitor is having more potential, from that potential the charge will flow to another capacitor which is having a lesser potential. Okay. And this process will continue until the potential in the first capacitor and second capacitor become equal to each other. Okay. So if what happens here, after at equilibrium condition, after certain time the charge flow stops. Okay. So when that happens, the potential in the capacitor C1 as well as potential in the capacitor C2 will be equal to each other. So here I have C1 here, and the potential in the first capacitor, that will be equal to the potential in the second capacitor. So these equal potential value I call it as a common potential, that we call it as Vc. Okay. But during this process there is flow of charges from one capacitor to another capacitor, so the value of these charges will not remain same. Okay. So the new charge present on capacitor C1, that I call it as a Q1 dash, and the new charge present on the second capacitor, that we call it as a Q2 dash. Okay. And this we call it as a common potential Vc. Right. There is transfer of charges from higher potential capacitor to lower potential capacitor until the potentials of both the capacitors will be equal to each other. Okay. Then And if I write the effective combination here, equivalent circuit can be written like this. Okay, the net charge is equal to what? Q, and the potential is equal to what? Vc, and the capacitance, the effective capacitance of these two capacitors, they are in parallel combination. So that will be equal to what? Cp is equal to C1 plus of C2. Okay, and this Q will be equal to what? Q1 dash plus of Q2 dash. So if I write the equation for this circuit, I can write Q is equal to Q1 dash plus of Q2 dash. Okay, so this is consider the final effective circuit here. And if I consider this equation, if I consider this circuit here, I can also write it as, from this equation I can write again Q is also equal to what? Q is also equal to Q1 plus of Q2. In both the cases there is transfer of the charges, but by the law of conservation of electric charges, the net charge should remain same. Here I have two circuits here. From this circuit I can write it as Q is equal to Q1 dash plus of Q2 dash, and from this circuit I can write Q is equal to Q1 plus of Q2. Okay. Now this equation can be written as, look at this, Q1 dash is equal to what? Q1 dash is equal to Vc into C1. Okay, Q1 dash is equal to Vc into C1. Q2 dash is equal to what? Plus of Vc into C2. Okay, so here Vc is common, so I can write it as Q is equal to Vc into C1 plus of C2. Let it be equation number 1. Okay. From the final effective circuit, I can write Q is equal to what? Vc into C1 plus of C2, where Vc is the common potential when those two capacitors are connected in parallel. Okay. Similarly, from this figure, I can write Q is equal to what? Q is equal to Q1 plus of Q2, Q1 plus of Q2. Q1 is equal to what? C1 V1, is it not? Q1 is equal to C1 V1 plus of C2 V2. Okay. I can write Q is equal to what? C1 V1 plus of C2 into V2. Let this be equation number 2. Okay, from equation number 1 and 2, both are the equations for the total charge stored in the system. So I can equate equation number 1 and equation number 2. So I can write it as Q C1 V1 plus C2 V2, that is equal to what? Vc into C1 plus of C2. And the same equation for common potential I can write it as, I can write for common potential is equal to what? Vc is equal to C1 V1 plus of C2 V2 whole divided by C1 plus of C2, where C1 and C2 are capacitances of both the capacitors. V1 and V2 are the initial supply voltages, and Vc is the final common potential across a combination of the capacitors. Yes. Next, let us derive the important derivation of the energy stored in the capacitor. Yes. Let us consider the capacitor of capacitance C, which is connected across the potential difference of V. Okay. Initially, when this key is open, or circuit is open, there is no charge stored in the capacitor. The charge stored in the capacitor is 0. Okay. So when we close the key here, this capacitor starts getting charged. Okay, because of this battery will charge this capacitor. Okay, after certain time, let us consider small q is the charge stored in the capacitor. Okay, after very small duration of time, q is the charge stored in the capacitor. Okay, when there is charge stored in the capacitor, there will be potential developed in the capacitor. That potential developed in the capacitor after the same time, let it be V dash. Okay, V dash is the potential developed in the capacitor when the charge stored in the capacitor is small q. Okay, so V dash is the potential developed in the capacitor when the charge stored in the capacitor is q. Yes. So here, in storing the charge in the capacitor, battery is doing some work. Okay, whatever the work is done by the battery to store the charges in the capacitor, that work done gets stored in the form of potential energy of the capacitor. Okay, so that energy magnitude we are deriving. Okay, now let us consider the potential in this capacitor is V dash. The charge stored in this capacitor at given time instant is Q. Now, if this battery has to increase the charge by very small value. Let us consider this charge is increased by very small value here. So the new charge let it be Q plus dq. Okay. To transfer this charge, the battery has to do some very small quantity of work. Okay. To increase the charge of this capacitor by the value of dq, this battery is doing some small quantity of work. That small quantity of work is given by dw. Okay. And the potential difference between the plates is what? V dash here. So the work done can be given as V dash into d. Okay. So we know in the chapter of potential and capacitors, we know the definition of work done is equal to potential difference into the charge transferred. Okay. So by that definition, I am writing it as dw is equal to what? V dash into dq. Okay. We also know the definition of potential can be given as V dash is equal to what? Q divided by C. By the basic definition of capacitance, I can write this equation. V dash is equal to what? Q divided by C, where Q is charge stored in the capacitor and C is capacitance of the capacitor. Yes, I will replace this V dash by Q by C. So I can write dw is equal to what? Q divided by C into dq. Yes, this is the small work done for increasing the charge by the value of dq. Okay. But initially the charge on the capacitor is 0. Initial charge is 0. Let us consider the maximum charge which can be stored in the capacitor is capital Q. Yes. So for charging this capacitor by the value of capital Q, the total work done by the battery, let it be capital W. Capital W is what? It is the total work done in increasing the charge of this capacitor from 0 to capital Q. Yes. So this total work done itself gets stored as a electric potential energy. Okay, and that total work done, this is actually basic equation. Okay, this is basic equation. By integrating this equation between the limits of 0 to capital Q, that is the maximum charge, we will get the expression for total work done. So total work done is integration of such small incremental works between the limits 0 to capital Q. 0 is initial charge of the capacitor, capital Q is the maximum charge that can be stored in the capacitor. Okay, I will simplify this. W is equal to what? 0 to capital Q, dw I can write it as Q divided by C into dq. This I can write it as 0 to Q, I write it as 1 divided by C into Q into dq. Okay, 1 by C is constant, I can take it outside. Q is the variable. Yes. After simplifying this, I can write as W is equal to 1 by C. I know integration of Q with respect to Q is what? Q square divided by C. I will write it as Q square divided by 2 between the limits of 0 to capital Q. I take 2 outside. 1 divided by 2 is 3. Yes. I will apply the limits. I will apply the limits here. First, I will apply upper limit, that is capital Q square minus of lower limit is 0. Hence, W is equal to Q square divided by 2C. Yes. This work done by the battery itself is stored in the capacitor as a potential energy. So the potential energy itself is equal to W, that is equal to Q square divided by 2C. Yes. And if I substitute, I know Q is equal to what? I know Q is equal to C into V. If I substitute Q by CV, I can write potential energy is equal to what? 1 upon 2C into Q square. I write as CV whole square. I can write E is equal to, yes, C V square divided by half CV square. This is another expression for the potential energy equal to the capacitor. Yes. Let us solve the numerical problems of this chapter. Let me begin with a simple problem here. Let us look at the problem. They have given, we are asked to calculate the electric potential at a point 0.3 meter from the center of charged sphere of charge 15 microcoulomb when it is placed in air and in a medium of dielectric constant of 5. very simple problem they have given. It is the charge given, right? So the magnitude of the charge is equal to what? That is Q is equal to 15 microcoulomb. Okay. From this I have to calculate the electric potential at a point P, which is at the distance of 0.3 meters. Okay. We have basic expression for the electric potential is given by what? V is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. Q is the magnitude of the source charge, R is the distance of the point of concentration from the position of the charge. Okay. Just there are two cases here. In first case the charge is placed in air, and in second case the charge is placed in some other medium whose dielectric constant is 5. Okay. So for the first case we shall use the same equation here. By substituting the values I can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon. What is the equation here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. Just substitute the values. Here it is 9 into 10 to the power of 3, and the source charge is equal to what? 15 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by what is the distance? That is should be in meters. That is equal to what? 0.3. Okay. So this, and after calculating this I get it as 450 into 10 to the power of 3 volt. Okay. And in second case, for the second case I have the charge is placed in some other medium of dielectric constant 5. We have dielectric constant as the potential of the charge when it is in air divided by the potential of the same charge when it is placed in a given medium. So by this I can write V medium, the potential in the medium is equal to what? V air divided by K, that is equal to 450 into 10 to the power of 3 whole divided by K is equal to what? 5. So I can write V medium, the potential in the given medium is equal to what? 90 into 10 to the power of 3 volts. So this is the solution for a given problem. Let us look at the second problem here. It is given that a point charge of 10 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb is at the distance of 1 meter from another point charge of magnitude 20 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb in air. Both the charges are placed in air, and we are asked to find the electric potential at a distance of 0.2 meter from a weaker charge. Okay. Let us draw the charges here. First charge, let me call it as Q1. Q1 is equal to what? 10 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and Q2 is equal to what? Q2 is equal to 20 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and both the charges are placed at the distance of 0.1 meter. Okay. The distance between both the charges is 1 meter, and we have to find the effective potential at the distance of 0.2 meter from a weaker charge. In these two we have the weaker charge, that is 10 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. So from this charge let us consider the distance of 0.2 meters. Okay. So this distance is 1 meter. The remaining distance is how much? 0.8 meters, that is 1 minus of 0.2 meter. Okay. And by the principle of superposition, the net electric potential is equal to what? Sum of individual potentials at that point. So let us consider point P here. Because of first charge Q1 I will have some potential of V1. Because of second charge Q2 I will have potential of V2 at this point. Okay. And the total net effective potential is equal to sum of these two potentials. Okay. And we know if the source charge is positive, the potential is positive. If the source charge is negative, the potential is negative. In this case both the charges are positive, hence both the potentials are also positive here. So let me write the equation for the potential because of first charge at point P. Okay. That I write it as V1. V1 is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 divided by Q1 divided, let me call the position of this Q1 is A, let position of Q2 is B here. So the distance between these two is equal to what? That is equal to EP. Okay. So I can write this as V1 is equal to, let me substitute the values. I will get 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into Q1 is equal to what? 10 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by what is the distance here? That is 0.2. Okay, this is the potential at point P because of source charge Q1. Similarly, the potential at point P because of second charge Q2 is given by what? That is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 divided by what is distance between these 2 points, that is BP. If I substitute this, I get it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into what is the magnitude of second charge, that is 20 into 10 to the power of minus 8 divided by what is this distance here, that is 0.8. okay, and the effective capacitance, effective potential is equal to what? V1 plus of V2. So that is equal to, let me add the values here, 9 into 10 to the power 9 into 10 to the power of minus 8 is common for both. I take them outside. Inside bracket I will write 10 divided by 0.2 plus here I will have 20 divided by 0.8. okay, if I simplify this, I get it as 9 into 10 to the power 1, that is 90 inside bracket, 90 inside bracket. This will be 50, 10 by 0.2 is 50, so this will be 25, is it not? So that is equal to, so here I get it as V is equal to 90 into, this will be equal to 75, though the net potential is equal to what? 6,750 volts, right? So by calculating this, I get the potential is equal to what? 6,750 volts. Yes. So this is the solution for a given problem. Look at the next problem. It is given that two charges of magnitude 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb and minus 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb are located 15 centimeter apart. Okay, and they are asking at what points. Observe here, in some problems they will ask only one point to find out. If they say at what points, we have to find out minimum 2 positions. At what points on the line joining two charges is the electric potential 0. Okay, observe here we have two source charges. One charge is positive, another charge is negative. Okay, the potential because of first charge will be positive, the potential because of second charge will be negative, so that the net potential will be equal to 0. But what is the position at which the net potential depends on what point we are considering with respect to these two charges. Okay, so first case, what we shall do, let us consider both the charges. First charge is what? So that I call it as Q1. Q1 is equal to plus 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and second charge is given to be what? Q2 is equal to minus of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and along this line we can choose any position. Okay, so let us assume in first case what we will do, we will assume the point of zero potential is somewhere in between these two charges, but we don't know where it is. Let us consider it is at the total distance. The total distance between these two charges is given to be how much? 0.15 meters. That is 15 centimeters they have given. I am writing it in meters. It is equal to 0.15 meters. Okay, and the point P where the net potential is equal to 0. Let it be at the distance of x. Let it be at the distance of x from first charge. Okay, so that its distance from the second charge is equal to what? 0.15 minus of x. Total distance is 0.15 meter. The distance of the point P from first charge is equal to what? X. So that the remaining distance is 0.15 minus of x. Okay, at the point P, the potential because of first charge, let me call this as V1. V1 is equal to what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The source charge is Q1 divided by, let me write these positions as A and B here. The distance between these two positions is equal to what? EP. Okay, this is the general expression. If I substitute the values here, so this is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. Yes, Q1 is equal to what? 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by what is this distance? This distance is x. Okay. Similarly, the potential at P because of the second charge is given by V2 is equal to what? V2 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q2 is what? So that is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8. This charge is minus, hence this potential also I write it as a minus here. V2 is equal to minus of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by what is this distance? That is equal to PB. Yes. So that is equal to PB. So V2 I can write it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by PB is equal to what? 0.15 minus of x. Okay, and these are the values of potentials V1 and V2. The net potential is equal to 0, so that I can write V is equal to V1 plus of V2. So 0 is equal to, I can write 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by x minus of this is also minus here, minus of 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by 0.15 minus of x. Okay, this I take it to the left side, so that I will have 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by x is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by 0.15 minus of x. So this I can cancel, this 10 to the power of minus 8 I can cancel. Just simplify this, I can write, yes, I can take this to the left side, 0.15 minus of x into 3 is equal to what? 2 times of x here. If I simplify this, I will get 0.45 minus of 3x is equal to what? 2x. So I take it to the right side, I can write 0.45 is equal to what? 5x. This implies x is equal to what? 0.45 divided by 5, that is 0.09 meters or 9 centimeters. Okay. So the point P is at the distance of 9 centimeter from charge Q1. Okay. So this is half of the solution, and we have to find out another point. Okay. So for another point, either I can assume the point is towards the right side of the second charge, or it is towards the left side of the first charge. Okay, you can choose any point here. Okay, so that also we shall try to solve. You can take screenshot of this. Okay. So let us consider both the charges. So this is Q1 equal to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and second charge is what? Q2 is equal to minus 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Let us assume the point at which the potential is 0, let it be on the right side here. Okay. So let us assume this is the position of the point of 0 potential. Okay. I don't know what is the distance, let me write this as x, and this distance is given to be how much? This is 0.15 meters. So that the distance of the point P from the first charge is equal to what? 0.15 plus of x. Okay, these potential values just change because of these distances, because the charges are same, only the values will change because of changes in these distances. Okay, similar to previous case, let us consider the potential at P because of the first charge. Let me write the values directly here. That is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9, or better we shall write the equation, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 divided by, let this position is A, let this position is B. Okay, Q1 divided by the distance between these 2 points is equal to what? That is equal to AP. This I can write it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9. Charge Q1 is equal to what? 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by AP is equal to what? 0.15 plus of x. Correct? Similarly, the potential at P because of the second charge, that is equal to what? V2 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 divided by, what is this distance here? That is equal to BP. Okay, so this I can write it as 9, and this second potential is negative because the source charge is minus here. This I can write it as minus of 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by this distance is what? X. Okay, and similar to previous case, we have V1 plus V2 is equal to 0, so that these two are equal and opposite. So I can directly equate equation number V1 is equal to what? Minus of V2, or simply I can write it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 divided by 0.15 plus of X, that is equal to, I will write 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 whole divided by distance is equal to what? X. Okay, I will just cancel out this. I can just simplify it as 3 times of X is equal to 2 into 0.15 plus of X. I can get 3X is equal to, this is 0.3 plus of 2X. 2X I can take it to the left side. So this will give me X is equal to 0.3 meters. Okay, so that is the position at which the potential is equal to 0. That point P, it is at the distance of 0.3 meters towards the right side of the second charge of Q2. Okay, and these 2 points are sufficient for 5 marks, and this is the solution for a given problem. Let us look at the next problem here. It is given that ABCD is a square of 2 meters. Charges of 5 nanocoulomb plus 10 nanocoulomb and minus 5 nanocoulomb are placed at corners A, B, C respectively, and we are asked to find what is the work done in transferring a charge of 5 microcoulomb from point D to point of intersection of diagonals. Okay, so this is one of regularly asked questions here, and this question is asked in the year of July 2015. First, let us draw a figure given. We have a square of side ABCD is square here, and charges are 5 nanocoulomb. Let me write it as Q1 is equal to what? 5 nanocoulomb. Q2 is equal to 10 nanocoulomb. Let us write them in sequence, and we have Q3 is equal to what? Minus of 5 nanocoulomb. Okay, and let us join the dimensions here. And let me call the point of intersection of the diagonals as O. Okay. Then we are asked to find out what is the work done in transferring a charge of 5 microcoulomb from point D to O. Here only these 3 charges are my source charges. This is test charge. This test charge I will move from point D to point O. Okay. So for finding that work done, first we have to find out what is the potential difference between point D and point O because of these source charges. Okay, let us consider VD is potential at point D because of charge Q1, Q2 and Q3. Similarly, let me write VO. VO is potential at point O because of the source charges Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, first separately we shall find the value of VD, and then we shall find the value of VO, then we shall find out what is the potential difference between those 2 points, and the work done is given by the potential difference between these 2 charges and the magnitude of the test charge that we are moving. Product of those 2 magnitudes will give me the work done. Okay, first we shall find out what is electric potential at D because of these source charges, and the side length is going to be how much? 2 meters. All sides are equal to 2 meters. Okay, and if I calculate the value of EC, it comes somewhere around 2.82. Okay, so this A to O is 1.41 meters. All the values of A to O, B to O, C to O and D to O all will be equal to DO, that is equal to CO, that is equal to DO, this is equal to what? 1.41 meters. For calculations, let us use that value. Okay. Then potential at D, so that I can write it as VD is equal equal to what? It is the sum of potential at D because of charge Q1. So that we write as VdA plus potential at D because of charge at B. That I write as VdB. Okay. Similarly, that we write the potential at D because of source charge C. So that I write as VdC. Okay. For all these values, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is constant. So that I can write it outside here. I can write it as, or separately let me write the values of VdA, VdB and VdC. So this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. For VdA, the source charge is Q1, is it not? And the distance between A and D is how much? That is 2 meters. Okay. So that I write it as, what is the source charge magnitude? 5 into, first let me write the charge value here, Q1 divided by ED, plus what is VdB? It is the potential at D because of charge at B, that is Q2, that I can write it as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Second charge is what? Q2 divided by what is the distance between these two charges? That is nothing but that is VD. Okay. Similarly, the equation for VdC is potential at D because of source charge Q3 at C, that is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is that charge? Q3 divided by what is the distance? That is nothing but CD. Okay. In this I can take 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught outside. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught I take it outside. Let me substitute the values. All values are in nanocoulombs, so I can take 10 to the power minus 9 also outside. Yes, into 10 to the power of minus 9. This I can write it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value I am substituting here. 10 to the power minus 9 is associated with all the charges. Inside I will just write the numerical values. Here will be 5 divided by AD is how much? 2 meters. Okay. Plus here I have 10 nanocoulombs. So nano I have taken it outside. So here I have only 10 here. And what is this distance? This is 2.8. Okay. And this source charge is positive. This source charge is also positive. Hence my potentials are also positive. But look at the third charge here. Third charge is negative. Hence the potential because of this negative charge at point D will also be negative. So I write minus here. Okay. By the sign convention, I write minus. What is the magnitude of the charge? 5 nanocoulomb. 10 to the power minus 9 I have written outside, divided by CD is how much? Again it is 2 meters. And if I calculate this value, I get VD is equal to 63.64 volts. Okay. It is the net potential at point D because of the source charges Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay. Now similarly we shall find out what is the net electric potential at the intersection of the diagonals, that is point O, because of charges Q1, Q2 and Q3. So that we write that as VO. VO is electric potential at O. Directly let me write the values here. So here I can write, so VOA, that is equal to VOA plus of VOB plus of VOC. Yes, only the charges will remain same, only the distance may change here. Right? So just be careful with the distance here. Here I can directly write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, or I can write 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 10 to the power of minus 9. Just compare with previous case here, just write the values. Okay. So here my source charge is at A and point of concentration is at O. Here the distance I have to write is what? 5 divided by what is the distance between the source charge and the point of concentration? That is 1.41. Okay. Plus second source charge is at B and the point of concentration is O here. The distance here also is same. So here I have written 10 divided by the magnitude of the source charge is 10 nanocoulomb. 10 to the power minus 9 I have written outside already, divided by here I have written 1.41. Okay. And similarly the third charge is what? Minus of 5 nanocoulomb. This will be minus here. Minus 5 divided by the distance is remaining same, 1.4. Okay. And if I calculate this value, I get the value of potential at O as 31.9 0.82 volts. Okay, so I have two potentials, one at point D. At point D I have potential of VT is equal to 63.64 volt, and at point O I have VO is equal to 31.82 volts. Okay, and the work done in moving the charge of 5 microcoulomb from point D to O is given by W is equal to potential difference between point D and O into magnitude of the charge that has to be moved. So that is equal to potential difference is given by 63.64 minus of 31.82 into what is the magnitude of the charge? 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6. Yes, so that is equal to what? 31.82 into 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6, which is volt. W is equal to 159.1 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joules. Here we need not do any actual work. The charge is moved from higher potential to lower potential. The charge moves itself because of this potential difference. Here we have 63.64 volt. Here the charge, the potential is 31.82. The charge moves because of this potential difference from higher potential to lower potential. That work done on the charge is equal to 159.1 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joules.